And good evening, everybody. Meteorologist Sawyer Wells here once again on this beautiful Wednesday. And it's been a while since we've had one of these chats. There's a lot going on in the world of weather, and so kind of the gist of this video, and it's going to be a little bit of a long one, so bear with me here because there's going to be a lot of information. But we're going to be talking about the Arctic air that is on its way to the country and the storm systems that are also looking to form when that Arctic air is in place. We're going to kind of cover an overview here and then really dive on into mainly Oklahoma, since that's where I'm from, that's where I am, that's where I worked, all the above. So, couple things to note here. One, if you're looking for forecasted snowfall totals, you're not going to see those, at least from me. I still think we're a little too far out from our main snow chances on Sunday and Monday to get into specifics. There's still a lot of uncertainty there. I will show you what the models are outputting, but remember, take that with a large grain of salt, all right? Also, if you're looking for a hype cast or anything like that, I'm probably not the person for you. I appreciate you watching up until now, but we're not going to fly off the handles with the sky is falling and all that stuff, because that just, I don't know. It doesn't feel right to me, at least. It feels a little bit weird. So other than that, though, let's jump right on into it here. I'm going to shrink myself down. And this is the GOES West satellite right now, taking a look at the mid-level water vapor imagery here. And if you haven't seen this before, one, isn't it so beautiful? But two, where you're seeing the yellow, the oranges, and the reds, that's dry air. And where you're starting to see the blues, the whites, and the greens, that's where you have more moisture. So this really kind of shows us where the troughs are, or the dips in the jet stream, and where the ridges are. That's these things like this. And it's just beautiful. But this is showing us way up here. It's kind of out of the range of GOES West, but you see this little spinning cyclone up here. This was the big upper level low that brought some snow, some snow to Oklahoma, and Kansas, and Missouri, and really on up to the eastern seaboard, or the eastern part of the U.S. The past couple of days. So also had some really nasty winds with it. I mean, we had blizzard warnings out in the Oklahoma Panhandle. Remember, with a blizzard, you don't need a lot of snow. You just need blowing snow and winds. I think it's 35 miles per hour or greater for 3 hours. And your visibility needs to be reduced below, I think it's a quarter mile. So, yeah, you don't have to have a lot of snow for that, as long as those winds are blowing and going. We're watching, though, right now, because this ridge on out that's going to be building in over Alaska is going to be kind of forcing some of that colder air from the north down to the south. And this is going to be true Arctic air here. Really, you could argue in some cases Siberian air, but it's going to be cold. Don't care what you call it. I don't think most of the public cares what you call it. It's going to be freezing cold outside. The Weather Service offices across the country, they have been just working their tails off, so of course, my hands go out to them because they're just doing an amazing amount of work. They're already getting ready for the next system. You got winter weather advisories up in Nebraska, southern parts of South Dakota, northern part of Kansas. Winter storm warnings already in effect for western Iowa and eastern Nebraska. And then, of course, everything up in the Rockies. That's to be expected. Snow places, ski and snow places. There we go. Ski and snowboard places. Loved this past system. I know Angel Fire, New Mexico picked up, I think it was 17 inches in 3 days, something like that. So great. Opened up a lot of trails there. They're starting to get a lot of good skiing in. Okay, let's jump into the models here. We're looking at the GFS first. We're going to take a look at the GFS and the European model. And what we're looking at here is where those troughs and those ridges are, where the storm systems kind of are. And essentially what you're seeing here is, if we take a look from the surface up to what we call 500 millibar, that's basically half the atmosphere. And we know how tall that should be, right? We use decameters is what the DM stands for. But we know how tall that should be about this time of year. If we average out a very long period of time, well, we want to see how much the model thinks it's going to be shrinking, or smaller, which means cold air, or taller, which means warmer air. Because, colder air and cold air likes to shrink. More dense, should say that. So when we go forward in time here, we're going into Thursday afternoon. This is Thursday evening. Here comes our first trough. All right, and this is going to be really Thursday into Friday. And there's still a lot of questions on this cold air. All right, so we're going to have kind of two bouts of cold air, kind of a reinforcing shot after the first one. There's still several questions. Timing is the main one. Models notoriously have a little bit of a difficult time when it comes to the speed at which these big cold air masses move. So something to kind of keep in mind that this is going to fluctuate a little bit. But we go into your Friday, and what I can almost say with a decent amount of certainty is that temperatures are going to fall throughout the day on Friday. I can guarantee you it's going to be cold, but temperatures should fall throughout the day on Friday. And then we go into the weekend, and we get another reinforcing shot. And then here's where things get a little bit more interesting. Sunday afternoon into Monday, notice out to the west, these little dips that you see. Those dips are what we call a short wave. And a short wave is basically a little area of, to simplify it, a little storm system and a big storm system. All right, that's not exactly accurate, but we're just going to leave it at that. These little dips in the atmosphere or in the jet stream are what give us our storm systems. And we can have what we call short waves, where they're not like these big ones right here. This is a big long wave trough. See how big it is? These are called short waves because they're short. They're quicker moving, and they're kind of enveloped in the overall flow of the systems. So that's going to be the one that we watch for our first little round of snow. And then there's a second one that tries to move on in Monday into Tuesday. So we'll keep our eye out for it. Again, a lot of uncertainty when it comes to the forecast. Here's the European model. We go forward. There's the first bout of cold air, I'll say. That's going to bring us some snow as well, potentially maybe an inch or so, not much. And then when we get into your Sunday, you start to see out to the west that short wave. And then once we get through your Monday, we kind of get that another little short wave that wants to kind of move on in. So still lots of uncertainty here. Precipitation type. When we get into your Friday, there's that first little chance of snow. This will be mainly Friday morning, probably about rush hour. And as we saw on Monday, had a lot of accidents during rush hour here in Tulsa. It took me 40 minutes to go 2 miles on my way to work in the morning. So yeah, that's never good. Before we continue, let me just say with snow, please, because this is going to be an all snow event. If we get any snow, please make sure you take necessary precautions. Slow down. Take extra time to get to work or wherever you're going. If you don't have to get out, just stay in. That's the best thing. If you are traveling, make sure you have a winter weather preparedness kit. And that can be things like extra batteries, food, water, blankets. Because if you do somehow get stranded or run off the road, especially at nighttime, you want to make sure you have something to keep you warm. If we do get a decent amount of snow, especially on the the Sunday and Monday system, make sure that you're not constantly running your car because, again, if snow's backed up to your tailpipe, then that's just a carbon monoxide disaster waiting to happen. Again, this is not going to be a 2011 blizzard, 2009 Christmas Eve blizzard type deal, but could get a decent amount of snow on Monday and Tuesday. I'll just say that for now. So we go forward, and Sunday afternoon, there comes the next system. And then that's out of here by Sunday night into Monday morning, And then there's another kind of little reinforcing chance Monday into Tuesday. The European has been a little bit stronger on this, and I will say, at least in my opinion, it's been a little bit more consistent when it comes to these systems. The one coming on Friday and then the one this past Monday. So I'm leaning more towards believing the Euro. Can't quite tell if that's because I want more snow, because it tends to have more snow right now, but we'll see as we move on forward. So there's your Friday system, and of course that moves on up to the Great Lakes, and they're going to have a lot more snow, which again they're used to this time of year. And then when we get into your Sunday afternoon, there you go. The red line you see is the freezing mark. So again, like I said, this is going to be a snow event, but this brings in some heavier snow, has a little bit more moisture with this system. And the snow ratios will be a little bit higher, so this will be a drier snow. And if we do get it, that is. And that moves on off to the east again. So I want to show you real quick. This is the GFS SKU-T for Sunday evening. And so what we're looking at here are temperatures and dew points plotted as you go up in the atmosphere. And it's called a SKU-T because the temperature lines are skewed. So you see here 0 degrees Celsius, that's freezing, that's 32 degrees Fahrenheit. That's skew going up this way, all right? So temperatures here, notice that red line, that's your temperature, stays way, way below freezing. And that's why this is going to be an all snow event if we do get any precipitation. We're not looking at ice. We're not looking at sleet, freezing rain, none of that. This would be a snow event because we are very far beyond that. What we would look for freezing rain and sleet is some of that red line on this side, on the right side of the 0 degree mark. And in that case, we'd have to look at how deep is that warmer, still cold, but that warmer air, how deep is it? The deeper it is, the more likely to have freezing rain. The shallower it is, the more likely we are to have sleet. So again, this will be an all snow event. We're not going to have a ice or anything like that. In terms of totals now, we're going to kind of zoom on in here a little bit closer to Oklahoma. I'll show the GFS one more time here to get a little bit of a closer look. This also has temperatures on it too, and you notice temperatures get cold in a hurry. We fall throughout the day. We have one more nice day. That's tomorrow. That's Thursday. And then by tomorrow night, we'll start to see that moisture increase as the cold front starts to move on through. Again, depending on the timing. Should look like it moves on through maybe early Friday morning, and then or late Thursday night, early Friday morning. And then temperatures fall behind it. And notice this model keeps us at 32 degrees for roughly a high on Friday. That'll be of note when we look at some other graphs here shortly. But then we go into the weekend and we're just bitterly cold. It's just frigid. And then there's your chance for snow that comes on in. That's right there. That's Sunday at midday. That's at noon. And then continues on until we get to really late Sunday night, early Monday morning. And then behind it, the second wave doesn't look to be nearly as strong. The European, again, this is this morning's run, tends to have that be a little stronger. And so there's that Friday system that's out of here very quickly. And then we go into your Saturday and then Sunday. And there you go. Now this has it a little bit slower, right? So this would be Sunday at 6 p.m. So this has it coming in between midday and the evening hours and staying with us until Monday morning, about 6 to 10 o'clock in the morning or so. And then we get that other little reinforcing quick shot. Again, that one I'm not really too worried about. That one's going to be so quick and it's not going to be a lot of moisture with it. And it's not very strong in general. Okay, in terms of snowfall amounts, take a look here. There's a couple different products. A lot of people, what they'll do is they'll post a map like this. This is a, this is not the same map. They'll post a 10-to-1 snow to liquid ratio. For Oklahoma, that tends to not do too well because we usually are not at a 10-to-1 ratio. There's also what's called the Kuchera ratio, which is what we're going to look at here. That tends to be a little bit better, still has some cons to it though. And that is essentially they look at the warmest temperature in the lower half of the atmosphere, and they kind of use that to deduce a better snowfall ratio. And then you also have what is called snow depth, and that starts to add in the what we call surface fluxes, surface radiation fluxes, and basically the heat that the Earth holds in from the sun, and then it lets back out at night and during the day. It tries to bring all that in to show some melting and stuff. They all have their pros and cons to them. We'll stick right now because the only product we have on the GFS here is the Kuchera. But there you go. That's for this is for the Friday, so again, not very much, mainly in eastern Oklahoma. But then when we go into Sunday, Monday time frame, yeah, this tries to bring Tulsa into the east, 6, 8 inches more. You can see the numbers there. But showing you, how this compares to just 6 hours before, there you go. Had 8 to over a foot, and then 6 hours before that, again, had 8 to over a foot, but it was a little bit farther to the north. And then you go back to last night, and notice 3, 4 inches with most of the heavier stuff way on up to our northeast. So just in the matter of, less than 24 hours, it can change a lot. That's why I still think it's too early to get in on specifics. Just looks like, hey, confidence is kind of increasing here that we have a chance for a decent amount of snow. And by decent amount, I mean more than an inch or two. All right. Then we look at the European model. And like I said before, the Euro has been a little bit more consistent in terms of its forecast. So when we go forward, and this is not the one I want because that is a 10-to-1 ratio, and do not want to show you that. We'll show you snow depth for Friday. See, again, you're not talking about too much on Friday itself. Now, I'll switch over to this. And again, an inch, maybe 2 in far eastern Oklahoma for Friday, but there you go. So the Euro kind of blows it up. And again, don't take this with heart. Take this with a big grain of salt. because I want this to happen. I love snow, and I've been dying for a blizzard. I'm one of the odd people out in the weather community here. But do I think this is going to happen? No, I don't. And that's not me being negative or pessimistic. It's just in reality, these events hardly ever pan out because of where Oklahoma is, our climate, and where we are in relation to where all these ingredients start to match up. Usually it's not over Oklahoma, it's to our east. If we go back, though, to last night's run, it still had quite a bit of snow. Go back to the day before, it went bonkers. And then you go to earlier, the day before evening, too, again, bonkers. So overall, I see those totals have fluctuated a lot. And what we do to use, or I think what most meteorologists do, is we use what are called ensembles. And ensembles are a way to try and average out some of the uncertainties that we have in our models and in our measurements and observations. And what they are is, and I'm going to show you just this one map real quick. You'll see each row here, all right? This is the GFS ensemble. Essentially, what you do to make an ensemble is you run a model once. That's what we call the deterministic. That's what we've looked at so far. And then you run that same model, but with varying initial conditions many times again. Each time you vary the initial conditions to trying to account for some of that uncertainty. And then you average it out. So you kind of see the average here at the bottom of all 30 members plus the control for the GFS. And you see a lot of grays, and that's less than 2 inches, and in some cases less than an inch. So not a lot. And just to show you that this has changed, you go to this morning's run, and you had, 2 inches. You had a lot more models showing more snow. Now you look at the European, and you're seeing a lot of agreement between its members. They have 50 of them, plus the control. You're seeing a lot more. Okay, yeah, we're seeing 2s, 3s, 4s, and 5s in here. Contrast that with 12 hours before that, where you had a lot more grays. So again, it's all about trends right now, and what do we see kind of happening there. The only thing that I can tell you we are for certain of is we have a chance for snow a couple times, and it's going to be cold. And here's the ensemble models for the GFS for the temperatures. Again, we're going to have several days where the temperatures struggle to get out of the teens. I mean, you're talking, once we fall below on Friday, we're going to stay below until probably next Wednesday, maybe next Thursday. I mean, it is going to be freezing outside and very cold. Make sure you bring the pets in, all that stuff. Pipe bursting weather. Open up the cabinets to let that warmer air from your house get in there, and keep the faucets trickling, not dripping, but not running, just trickling. So yeah, we're going to be cold there. And the European also has us cold. A little bit colder Tuesday morning. Actual air temperature, it wants to average out at -5, but you can see down here with the blue bar, there's a wide spread between the 5 and the 95th percentiles. So, that's just, it's not going to be fun. The cold air, what it looks like really quickly here, and then we'll call it good because we're coming up here on 18.5 minutes. Thank you if you're still watching. Where are we at? There we go. Okay, there we go. Went backwards there. So we go into your Friday, and there's the cold front. Starts to kind of pick up its strength and move on through. And like I said before, temperatures falling throughout the day on Friday. There's a good chance that, depending on if the cold air moves a little bit faster, we have our high at midnight or in the early morning hours, and then we fall throughout the rest of the day. That's not out of the realm of possibility. But then that moves on through, and then we get the reinforcing shot of colder air for your Saturday night into your Sunday, and then we're just going to be, down in the dumps for a while. And yeah, that's the actual air temperature showing up in the negative, teens, -20s up to the north. Then again, this is the European model I'm showing you. If you look at the GFS, very similar. The numbers vary a little bit differently. It tries to warm us up a little bit more when they say warm us up. It's not much, gets us up into like the 20s. But that quickly kind of bottoms out. And then in terms of the, we'll do this. In terms of wind chill, here we go. You're talking, very quickly. You see this right here. This is Friday morning at midnight or Thursday night at midnight. Wind chills, 40s, 50s, actual air temperatures really. But then you're talking about falling down into single digits by Friday morning, feeling like single digits, and then feeling like the teens all day, all night until you get into Saturday. And then by Saturday night and Sunday morning, we're going to start to feel like we're in the negatives. So again, the cold air is on its way. It's going to hit here. It's going to go very far south into Texas. The overall summary is, besides the cold air, there are a couple chances for snow. The first one, Friday, not looking like a lot of snow, not going to really be a problem, maybe for that early morning rush hour traffic. But the system to kind of keep your eye on right now would be the Sunday into Monday system, as it has been kind of still generally trending towards being more impactful, more snow, more so than Friday. So, there's still a lot of uncertainty. Once we get into the next couple of days, our higher resolution models will start to be able to model the system and be able to go out that far. So that's when we're going to get a little bit of a better idea. And so, still a lot of uncertainty here. If you like snow, knock on wood, like I am constantly, to hope that we get a lot of snow. If you don't like snow, then don't wish for snow, I guess. We'll have another video, or I'll have another video coming out here probably in the next couple days. Something drastically changes earlier than that, but hoping maybe I can hold off until Saturday night or something, and we can, or Friday night or Saturday night, we can get something else in here. So thank you all for watching. I appreciate it. If you have any questions or anything, leave them below, and I'll try and answer them to the best of my ability, or put them in the next video. And again, thank you all for watching.